A portion of today's video is kindly sponsored by Thrive Market.
The clutter, the books, the curriculum.
That Play-Doh has seen better days.
The school supplies, the flashcards.
That's a piece of seaweed.
The manipulatives and teaching tools and oh my goodness.
Where is all of this pink paper coming from? Well, hey friends, so glad you stopped by to hang out with me today for another episode of Messy to Minimal. We are going to give our home office, schoolroom area a good little overhaul because it's the end of the school year. I've got some organizing and decluttering and filing that I need to do. And no worries, if you're not a homeschooler yourself, you'll still get some good gentle motivation in this video, some encouragement along the way. I'm so glad you're here to join me. If you've got something that you'd like to get started with doing some decluttering or cleaning, why don't you get on up and we can work together? Or if you like to use YouTube videos as a time to just chill and relax, I love that. Before we get with the decluttering and working on the mess in here, let's first look at the mess. I want to give you a quick little tour of what our homeschool room looks like at the end of the school year. Oh, and don't forget to drop this emoji in the comments. I've missed doing Messy to Minimal videos and I'm glad to be back at it. Okay, let's take a look. You guys know me, I don't tidy up before I do a decluttering or cleaning video because I like to share the reality of it. The reality of it for us is this is the drawer of choice for my kids to just pile everything on, no matter what category it fits into these beautifully labeled drawers that I have organized and set up for them. I have a dying houseplant in the corner, random KiwiCo boxes on the windowsill. There's probably enough crumbs in this keyboard computer to like put together a whole muffin. I've got a bunch on the floor everywhere as well. Random reams of paper, pencils, slime on the top of our school drawers. Speaking of drawers, this little felt drawer system over here, not working for me. Also got stuff that I'm going to be working on for filing and putting together sort of our portfolio. Our boys are at the age where there's compulsory laws for reporting what we did throughout the year and then being evaluated at the end of the year. That's actually what is happening tomorrow when I'm filming this video. We have our homeschool evaluator teacher coming on in, and it's not something that I ever get nervous about. It always goes really well and we're very excited about it. It's an alternative to doing standardized testing and it works really well for us and our students. I would like to get things at least a bit more under control in here before she steps through our door and we host her for that special afternoon. So it's time to roll up our sleeves and get going with some decluttering. I think I'm gonna start with this corner over here first. I'll feel really good to get that under control. But before we do, I'm gonna throw it off to sponsor Natalie, and she's gonna share with you about today's partner. If the last 4 years of completely decluttering my life and adopting some concepts of minimalism has taught me anything about myself, it's that I'm someone who really values simplicity. And when it comes to grocery shopping, Thrive Market has my whole heart. Thrive Market's membership-based online grocery store makes it super easy for me to stock my fridge and pantry, my cleaning closet, our medicine and supplement cabinet, and everything in between with high quality, good for you foods and products that can fit so many different diets and lifestyles. Whether you're keto, paleo, whole30, gluten-free, vegan, raw, AIP diet, the list goes on, Thrive Market has incredible search features that make it so you can narrow down exactly what fits into your diet or lifestyle. You can order everything from the comfort of your home and everything is shipped from their carbon neutral facility, and they have the best price match guarantee. Between the sales, coupons, and Thrive Cash that I had, I saved over $80 with this order alone. And I was able to stock up on some of our favorite snacks. I've got some health and beauty items here. I have a little bundle of things for postpartum and baby care that I am putting together to give to my sister who just had a baby. And I have some summer essentials. It's that time of the year. our favorite mineral sunscreen spray, the best tick and mosquito repellent. And speaking of summer essentials, right now is a really good time to check out Thrive Market because they're running their summer essentials sale with discounted prices that you can add on to the discount that I can offer you through the link in my description box, or you just type in thrivemarket.com/Natalie Bennett, and that will get you 30% off your first order with Thrive Market. Plus, they'll send you a free gift worth up to $60. Thanks so much to Thrive Market for sponsoring that portion of this video, and biggest thanks to you guys for giving me a platform where I get to work with brands that help support free content here and help me help support our family. All right, on to the decluttering. Okay, what are we doing? Just putting this pile of stuff here on this drawer. It all belongs in such different places. Huh? What is this pile of stuff on this drawer? I'm trying to figure it out. These books need to go into your drawer. We're reading that. Handwriting. Oh, this goes in your drawer too. Maybe we were just tidying up charts. Okay. This is paper. One of the biggest questions that I would run into during my Messy to Minimal series has been, how do I control paper clutter? This came from homeschoolers, public and private schoolers alike. Parents just seem to deal with paper. And I actually have a few systems for not only helping my kids with their paper clutter and crafts and stuff like that, but the adult paper clutter in our house with mail and bills and documents. And I have a whole video that I went over all of the details, shared some very real and raw encouragement with you, and I will have that video linked in the description box. But if you want the Cliff Notes version for this video, the two biggest things that have helped with kids' paper clutter is, first of all, to provide them with sketchbooks. That way their paper clutter is even more contained in bound form, and it's easy to take with them and to have it all in one place. But of course, there are the odd scraps of paper and other projects that they work on. The second thing that has helped so much is to have a designated spot for sort of halfway paper clutter.
What?
You drew a picture of someone farting? Toot! In our house, we call it the projects drawer. We've also had it in a file folder before in our old house, but this is where they quickly doodle on a page, but that piece of paper has a lot of life left in it, either for other projects or other doodles, before it's ready to be recycled or turned into fire starters. And then regularly, few times a year, we go through that projects drawer like I'm doing here. We pick the best of the best to keep, and then my kids get to decide what we do with the rest. This is a system that has worked since they were toddlers and has continued to work into the preteen years. Okay, do you guys want to come look through this pile to find anything that you would like to keep or keep drawing or put in your portfolio for this school year? How about you just quickly look through this? I'm gonna bring this over to you, and you guys can call dibs on whatever you want to keep. I've already got some piles going on the floor here. I've got things that absolutely need to go. I have papers and stuff that the kids have gone through that we'll just use for fire starters because they don't want to keep it anymore. And then they also have a say here in pulling out the things that they want to put in their homeschool portfolio, like the best of the best, the things that they want to show off to our evaluation. And then I just have some things here that they've moved on from. A couple of coloring books that have been colored all the way through that they don't want to hold on to anymore. We do a lot of sketchbooks, like I was saying earlier, but these drawing pads are such bad quality. It's so bad that even kids are like, I don't even want to use this to draw on. So we're gonna be decluttering out those things, and then anything that's perfectly good, that still has some life left in it, but my kids are ready to move on from. I always offer it to my sisters, and we have a homeschool group that we can offer it to as well. And if there's anything that they don't want, I don't make it someone else's responsibility to declutter it out. I always let them know that I'm willing to take it back and then like further declutter it out or donate it or recycle it for them. No strings attached hand-me-downs. That's the name of the game around here. These drawers right here are always the tidiest and require very little decluttering or straightening up. They're a lot of just curriculum drawers. This is the unit that I got secondhand. and it's a little bit janky, but this drawer is really heavy and I've got to pull things out of here to file. This is probably going to be the last step in our decluttering today, so I'm going to move on from that. Down here, I have some just crazy chaotic drawers, but now that I've done some decluttering over on the other side, I can pop the offending items into the spot that they actually belong. Like that little palette goes in the paint drawer. This goes in the paint drawer here. Stuff just gets out of place. We all do it, and that's okay. But I'm just gonna quickly go through that. We've got a flashcards drawer, which clearly doesn't have just flashcards in it anymore. Tools and toys. Ew. That Play-Doh has seen better days. So I'm just gonna quickly go through this stuff, take out the things that don't belong. Where is all of this pink paper coming from? I decluttered this side first so that I would have a spot to put the homeless items so that they actually have a place to go back to. So I'm gonna go through these drawers and then I think we'll be done with this unit. There is a Nerf dart in every corner of this house, I swear. A good example of something we've outgrown: shapes and colors flashcards. We are way beyond this, and we actually were at the beginning of this school year. It must have just slipped my radar when I was doing decluttering before we started school this year. So I'm going to donate the cards themselves, but these little flashcard holders, I've had these since the kids were teeny tiny. I'm just gonna pop in the sets of flashcards that we are currently using and will continue to use next year, which is time and money. Pop that in there and then pass these on. Oh my goodness, we haven't even switched our calendar over. It still says April. It's so silly. Definitely need to do some cleanup of the paint on the paint drawer. How apropos. But this is looking better up here, nice and cleared off. It's not perfect, but the motto over here on this channel is progress over perfection. And the progress that we make by doing things, even if it's just a little bit, is so fulfilling, so much more fulfilling and realistic than running after what our brains or what social media tells us is perfection. Decluttered, tidied up, plant is still dying. It's not gonna get revived overnight. I'm gonna work on it though. Another spot that is not going to be like absolutely done and perfect is this corner of chaos. The story over here with these little bins in this shelf system, it was so that we had bins for each person and we would be able to pull out our bin and bring it to the table with us and have everything right there, easy to grab out, easy to put away when we're done. Operative word being easy, and that is the literal opposite of what we have experienced with this system in particular. The main complaint here, as you can see, is that these bins are, oh my gosh, like I'm an adult with relatively excellent motor skills, I might say, and it is so difficult to get these stupid bins to stay on their tracks. Crooked, it's like off of its track, but you don't dare touch it because the whole thing will come crashing down. We have our printer up here on top, and when that gets rocking back and forth, I'm tumbling down. It feels like the Zaboomafoo closet over here. Other complaint is that these bins, they're just too big. They hold a lot of stuff, and something that I've realized about how our family's collective brain works, because we're all very similar, is that when a container or a drawer or a closet is too big, it gets filled to the brim and it becomes just chaotic and difficult to manage. So this system over here, while I'm not going to be reconstructing this or improving it or taking it down today for this video, it absolutely needs some help at some point. What I am gonna grab right now though, from these bins, is some work examples to file away. Some of what's in here is like stuff, curriculum, books and stuff that they've completed that I need to put into our filing system. It's just a plastic hanging file folder tote, and this is the one that I put together for last year. So in this front folder here, we have all of our legal forms for the year. So these are copies of the intent to homeschool form that I send for each kid 8 years old and older to our local school district. This also has our evaluation from our teacher that we hire to come in and do that for us. And then all of these other files are categorized per child, per grade, per subject that they did. So I've got a couple of Liam's, I've got Judah's. I did do stuff for Haley even though she's not at the compulsory age, but it is fun, and this is kind of a way to do the whole keepsake thing with having some of her curriculum in there and examples of her work. We've got those sketch pads, various sketch pads in here, along with some other pieces of art that the kids made or we worked on together. And then I just print out for the front of these clear totes what year, what grade, what kid, that sort of thing. And I actually am noticing that I printed out the next year's, but I'm gonna have to actually change this because the boys did 3rd and some of 4th grade. For us, many of the years that we've homeschooled, our grades actually switch over in the 2nd semester, so after we come back from Christmas break in the new year. I thought I was saving myself some time by pre-doing this, but I'm gonna have to go into my little like photo graphics editor and remake this so that it actually reflects what we did. I did save myself some time for next year by buying 2 of these totes so that when fall rolls around, I can actually be throwing things into the different file folders in this tote and have it be something that is an ongoing filing system versus doing all of this cram work at the end of the year. And that is definitely something I would like to improve next year, but here we are. It's actually a couple of days later and we have had this year's evaluation. Rather than throwing everything into the file folders, I wanted to have it all out. I laid it out here at our dining room table where our teacher evaluator came in and met with each one of the boys. They did things like read her a page so that she can see an example of their reading, do some handwriting stuff. She went through some of the examples of the curriculum that we had been through, our scope and sequence, and she wrote down, I love this, it was all handwritten, and that's what she did last year too. I feel like that is a lost art in the world of typing everything up, which would have been fine too, but it's been really cool to see just the personal touch of her filling out these forms, one for each boy, analyzing their skills and seeing where they are landing sort of in their grade. She agrees with me that the leap to 4th grade for them was the right way to go, and she made note of that in her evaluation, and I can just tuck that in to the new hanging file folder that I made for this year's, or this last year's that we just went through, that we are still working through until the end of June, which is where this year, our school year, is gonna go to. And then I can start putting all of this stuff that I laid out. I have each kid, each subject over there on that windowsill. Gonna put these hanging files into that new file box for this last year and start filling it up.
Get where we are, and it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. I did it all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for you.
Okay, I have their student evaluation forms that we just got yesterday. I made copies of them so that I have them in digital form as well as the originals here in this folder. These I just printed off again, the declaration of intent to homeschool that I sent our school office. And then this year, something that I did in addition to those is just put together, this isn't a legal form per se, but I am gonna include it in this folder because it's easy access. It's just for us how we keep track of the different things that we did and what subject or focus that they fit into. For our state, there is a list of required yearly subjects that our students have to do some form of learning in, whether it's in book or in person, like at a field trip sort of situation, or we hire in a tutor, or we're part of a homeschool co-op, or we have our kids pick up a class or two at a public or a private school. As long as we were hitting these 7 or 8 subjects in some capacity, that makes the state happy, along with the compulsory laws for testing versus, doing the evaluations like we choose to do, which is a better fit for us, along with submitting the intent to homeschool and all of that. We're looking really good. And I will say, my husband, Weston, and I have always wanted to homeschool our kids. That's always been our ideal. I get questions all the time about why. Why do we homeschool? And you know what? We have chosen to keep the full list of answers to that question private. I can, however, share that part of the reason why is because I love to teach. I'm a pretty good teacher. And the other part of the reason why is that we just really enjoy the freedom of being able to choose our kids' curriculum, choose what their school day looks like, our comings and goings. We love that. I will say, however, that 4 or 5 or 6 plus years ago, when I would think about homeschooling elementary, middle, high school students, because at that point I just had toddlers and preschool age kids, I was completely overwhelmed. And I like to teach, and I have a lot of experience. I've actually worked in education. I've worked as a private tutor. Before I had kids, I've helped other moms homeschool their kids. I've worked as sort of a homeschool assistant. I have a good bit of experience. What was overwhelming to me, and maybe I didn't even fully realize it at the time, was the stuff. The clutter, the books, the curriculum, the school supplies, the flashcards, the bits and bobs, the manipulatives and teaching tools, and oh my goodness. Don't get me wrong. Homeschoolers in this era are incredibly privileged with the resources, free resources available to us. There's so many things that are so amazing, not to mention the fact that we can just get online and chat with other homeschoolers and find camaraderie. There are so many benefits to this technological age, but with those benefits have also come just an abundance of stuff and choices and decision fatigue. And I guarantee you that had I not stepped out and chosen to really simplify our home and our life, I probably along the way in the last 4 years, the last couple of years especially with having elementary, like full-fledged compulsory age students, I probably would have crashed and burned at some point because it is overwhelming. The concepts of minimalism or simple living, like whatever you want to call it. I know some people cringe at the term minimalism, whatever you want to call it. These concepts have infiltrated not just what I'm storing in my cabinets and closets, but how I view our life as a whole, our calendar, our finances, how we spend our money, how we spend our time, the priority that we set for stuff versus experiences. If I look at this list, like I can tell what I've learned in just a year. A lot of what is on here for history or science or PE, a lot of it is actually experiences that we went out
and had. We were recently at the Spark Museum up in Bellingham, Washington, learning about the history of electrical engineering. My husband's an electrician, so it was a great point of connection for us that stay at home versus daddy who goes out to work and has this whole other side of his life in a field of science and technology that just blew our minds when we were at this amazing museum and exhibit. And it's dozens of other little experiences like that, even just simple, free trips to the local beach. What we've been able to do because we are freed up and not weighed down by stuff or the pursuit of stuff as a result of us just getting real with ourselves and deciding to minimize and to declutter, and then year after year maintain what we want for our space and our home and our lifestyle. Man, it's just been so worth every ounce of effort that we have put into this. And I say that to encourage you. If you are just setting out on maybe your own minimalism or simple living journey, maybe you've been watching decluttering content on YouTube. There are so many amazing channels out there. This is a great community, and it's been wonderful to watch the content grow over the last 4 years. I just want you to know that that tug on your heart, or the time that you've spent learning about simplifying and the time that you're spending doing the actual work of simplifying, it is all 100% worth it. Even if you're just working little by little, progress over perfection, right? Feeling really good about where we are here with the filing that we needed to do, with compliance, with our sort of roadmap for the future. And I would say that that overwhelm that I felt several years ago before I really purposed to minimize and to simplify our life, it's not there anymore. And I would say that homeschooling is harder than ever. The older my kids have gotten, especially with learning challenges and some neurodivergence that we deal with, not just with students, but also with teacher, you would think that it would become more and more stressful. And I would be just, biting my nails trying to plan the next year, but that has not been my experience. I think the number one contributing factor to that is how simple I keep everything. And number two, experience. My goodness. A few years older and wiser and more experienced really does a lot for the confidence of a homeschool parent. I am reminded of a verse in Proverbs 31, and no, I do not consider myself to be the ideal Proverbs 31 woman, but when I think about the trepidation and just the overwhelm that I felt years ago versus how I'm feeling today, I'm reminded of Proverbs 31. Where is the verse? It is verse 25. It starts out, strength and dignity are her clothing, but this second part is really where it hits me. And she laughs at the time to come. When I think of starting our school year next year, I am just like, haha, it'll all work out. And I know that our system is great, and I'm not going to be dealing with junk and crap and stuff because I've put the work into doing the simplifying. And yes, we have our ups and downs and our good days and our bad days, just like anyone in any sort of school capacity does. But I feel like we've just hit our stride. We've had a great school year, and I am really excited to finish it out over this next few weeks and then to pick it back up in the fall. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, whether you're a homeschooler or not. Thanks for coming along with me to do some decluttering in our home office, schoolroom. I hope you got some gentle motivation and some encouragement. Thanks so much for spending a little part of your day here with me for this messy to minimal episode, and I'll catch you later.
It's all for you.